Hi, friends. I'm Katie.
And I'm Lauren, and welcome to Okay, But Did You Know? A podcast where we talk about the TV and media that we love with a friend who's never seen it before.
Today, we're recapping and chatting about Bob's Burgers, Season 5, Episode 7, Tina Tailor Soldier Spy, and Episode 8, Midday Run. But as always, we start off with a synopsis. So here is Tina Tailor Soldier Spy. Tina has decided she is too old to be in the Thunder Girls. Linda is annoyed with her gray hairs and goes to see Gretchen to dye her hair. Gretchen convinces Linda to dye her hair blonde, and Linda shocks the family when she returns home. Ginny, from the Thunder Girls, finds Tina in the alley behind the restaurant and tells her that she thinks there is a mole in her troop. A rival troop, Troop 257, keeps showing up to places Troop 119 plans to sell cookies. Ginny asks Tina to rejoin the Thunder Girls to figure out who the mole is. Tina tells Louise and Jean about the mole, leading to Louise joining Troop 119 to help find the mole. Linda obsesses over her blonde hair, annoying Bob and pretty much everybody else. After failing to find the mole, Louise joins Troop 257 instead. A cookie lead is called into Troop 257 and they come to Bob's Burgers. Tina told all the girls in Troop 119 a different cookie lead, and Rena was outed as the mole since she brought them to her location. Linda dyes her hair back to its natural color, and Tina decides to stay in the Thunder Girls. So, a lot happened and a lot didn't. So,
Yeah.
but as always, we start off with puns. What did you get for the vacant storefront?
Brewed a baconing cakes for people you hate.
Which is for Rude Awakening, and it's a fun pun.
I think so.
A pest control truck.
It was this old mouse exterminators.
And we have burgers.
We do have burgers, so I believe I have two burgers.
Sounds
This
right.
one. Yep. We have the Cajun Gracefully burger.
I want to know, like, is it just Cajun seasoning? Like, I need more on that, because that sounds like if it's got the right cheese,
Probably.
it'd be good.
Yeah, well, like I feel like Cajun Gracefully. I mean, you definitely that would involve. I'm gonna say like what's their trio that they use instead of it's onions, peppers, and
Oh, the Holy
something.
Trinity?
Yeah.
Oh, that is celery. Oh, crap.
Is it celery, peppers, and onions?
Yes, celery, peppers, and
Yep.
onions.
So I mean, I could see like maybe like something kind of that on top in
That'd be
addition
yummy.
to Cajun seasoning in the burger.
And your other one is.
Blondes have more fungus burger comes with mushrooms.
I get it, but also, I don't know if I want to eat something that says fungus.
No, like I'm aware mushrooms are a fungus, but at the same time, please don't remind me of this.
Right? I do have some fun facts for you, though.
Okay.
So this episode is a reference to Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, which is a
Mm-hmm.
novel and it's been adapted to film. So when Linda is at Hair Barrel, which is the name of Gretchen Works, the
Okay.
salon, two women are seen reading the same magazine. The magazine appears again on the Belcher's coffee table at the end of the episode. So Linda's still in the
Okay.
magazine. During the end credits, the tattoo that Bob got during Equestronauts is visible near the bottom of the tattered basketball jersey that he is wearing.
I still never see it.
One day you'll
Like
be like, oh my god, there it is.
one day I'm gonna hit it. Oh, I noticed that he was wearing like the trash fashion. I noticed that, but I did
Mm-hmm.
not notice the tattoo.
He really was impressed by Gene's talent with that.
Mm-hmm.
When Gene tries to add himself to the lineup of potential subjects, the piece of paper that he has his name on is stuck to Tina's horse Chariot, the exact same horse
Yes.
from the Equestronauts. So lots of
Mm-hmm.
our fun little continuity there. As well as Jody struggling to sit down in Ginny's car. She was the one
Yeah, I
in
saw that.
Slumber Party that was she's the germaphobe.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my favorites is Louise is coloring in a Dizzy Dog. I'm sorry, she's coloring Dizzy Dog in her coloring book in the final scene.
Ah.
So
Okay.
lots of like little pulls of like continuity with that, of like pulling different things, not
Mm-hmm.
only from Equestronauts, but just from other episodes. Because Dizzy
Yeah.
Dog, he doesn't really show up like he did before with the
Mm-hmm.
episode where Linda thinks she is psychic,
A psychic. Yeah.
but that's about as much as we get. And I've always write down some notes. Mine are mostly lines, but I'm really excited to hear how you felt about this episode.
So was Ginny? Is she played by Paula Pell?
Oh, I did not. I can look that up because I did
Because
not think to do
I
so.
I did not look that up because I know the Troop 257 was also Rachel Dratch. That was
Yes,
easy to figure out.
with
But
like
I'm fairly certain.
I want to say, okay, we were on. Let me see.
I'm fairly certain it's Paula. I mean
See,
that
we
was
always should
who
Google something.
Exactly.
I just forgot to do this part. So that's Brooke Dillman again. Remember I told
Oh, it
you
was
that
Brooke Dillman.
she comes back a lot? Maybe that's why I hear her voice so often
Mm-hmm.
that I forget, and you are right, that is Rachel Dratch, but I always do. I always forget sometimes to
Yeah.
look at who actors are because Brooke comes back in so many different
Gotcha.
characters. You hear her
No.
constantly. So you hear it almost as much as like the main characters' voices that you kind of forget. Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh wait, I
Yeah.
should be writing this down.
Yeah. So, like, my first line, though, besides that, was just, how do you accidentally give someone highlights?
It's Gretchen.
I guess, but I was like, no, Linda will not look better as a blonde. Don't listen to Gretchen. She fucked up your hair. Like, not everyone looks. Here's the thing: is not everyone looks better as a blonde. But here's also something I learned recently. Apparently, the reason why a lot of blondes do look like, if they get the right hair
Mm-hmm.
color, why they look just as natural as redheads is because the follicle shape for that type of hair is the same
Oh.
versus brunettes. It's a different. It's like a different hair config. Like something sciency with the hair and the follicles is different. But blondes and redheads have a similar, I guess, physiological makeup when it comes to like how the hair is
Mm-hmm.
structured. That's why a lot of blondes do look very natural as redheads if they get the right hair
Yeah.
color.
I am a brunette, and if you ever hear me say the words, I think I should go blonde. Just tackle me. Don't let me do it.
Yeah, that's
Every
fair.
filter, everything that I've ever seen. Not that I've ever wanted to dye my hair blonde, but I'm like, maybe not.
Yeah, but the filters also aren't entirely accurate because I do a lot of like the redheaded filters on myself
Mm-hmm.
just for funsies. Because in case you don't watch any of our clips, I am very much a natural redhead. Like
You dye your
there's
hair, I'm
this
coming
color.
for you.
I have been told by every old lady in a hair salon at the same time as me my entire life, this color does not come out of a bottle, and they're
They're very
right
right.
because it doesn't. This is a very specific. This is a very specific natural type of red, and like when I was younger, it was a lot brighter. It's just kind of as you get older,
Mm-hmm.
it gets darker, which is just kind of what happens. It's fine, but it's still, I would say, still fairly accurate too. I am a ginger, full and full, like through and through. I am very much a redhead, but like the redheaded filters, like they somehow like they add on a lot of freckles. Which to be fair, I already have
Yeah.
plenty. Like that's how my skin works. Like the joke of like like I see the TikTok thing was like the amount of freckles you have on your arm is like the number of witches you're related to, and I'm like, so all of them?
Dude,
Like it's
my
my whole
my
arm?
whole body's covered in freckles. So if that's the case, my family's got some
It's the
explaining to do.
it's all of them, I think is my case. But like they add freckles, but they somehow also somehow darken the skin tone.
Yeah.
I'm like, you show me a redhead that like that tans well.
Not a one. Like, why are you adding
It's not how that
bronzer? This
works.
isn't nope.
Like if I were to do well with makeup, I'm sure my skin would be a lot darker. But like I was never good at stage makeup, which was really the problem. Like when I was like in musical theater and
Yeah.
dance and everything, like I had to get makeup that would make me look not like a ghost, but also not so much that I looked
My
insane.
brain just went, this isn't a romantasy novel. Like, this isn't how that works.
You can't. It's true. You can't have like a beautiful like bronze toned skin and fiery
But
red hair.
freckles as
This isn't.
well.
Yeah, and freckles and all this other stuff. That's not how skin
After being
works.
like bullied for the amount of freckles that I have and seeing people be like, look how I add
Right?
freckles to my face now. And I'm like, you bitches.
You all made fun of us when we were in like in elementary school,
When we
like, and
were
now you want
little,
it.
we got bullied for being covered in these things. And now you're like,
Hmm.
I've seen even the videos, people are like, come with me to get freckles tattooed on my face. And I'm like, I
Yeah,
hate all of you so much right
this
now.
is just go in the sun.
Just go in the sun. Honestly, I mean, wear sunscreen, especially if you're a redhead.
Yes,
Um,
definitely wear sunscreen.
so much
Like,
sunscreen.
but like this is like what I say. Like I don't tan. I burn slash I grow freckles, and mine just get darker when
I'm
I go
really
outside. That's.
curious how much red might be in my hair because I'm a weird brunette. I can find almost
Hmm.
every color of hair in my hair, if that makes sense.
Hmm. Yeah.
You've seen pictures of my hair.
Hmm.
It's weird, but like I burn pretty much like you as well.
Hmm.
So I need a DNA test. That's what I need. I
I
do
don't need
believe.
one. I
I
know what's in
know
mine.
we know you. We're good. Your
It's
family made sure of that.
unambiguous.
I have to say though, I understand where Linda's coming from, where she's like, "Oh no, grays," but I also have that mentality of like, when the gray hairs start really showing up, because I've had a few. I'm
Hmm.
getting there.
Yeah.
I'd rather just age gracefully. Like
Hmm.
aging is a gift.
Yeah.
Not all of us reach it this far, and gray hair shows that I've been gifted this life, and I'm
Hmm.
going to just run with it.
Yeah.
As someone who
I
used
think
to
so.
dye her hair constantly.
And I mean, I feel like here's the thing: is I feel like I don't. Not that I don't deserve to have an opinion on this one way or the other. Red hair goes gray a lot less frequently than brown
Yeah.
hair and blonde. Like so, like my chances of going like gray are small. Like I will likely have at least until I'm very
Yeah.
old. My hair will be some flavor of red.
I have high chances. One of my grandmothers, her hair is not gray, it is white.
Ooh.
At like my age, her hair turned white.
Mm.
So I am fully expecting some grays as I get a little bit older. Um, so what else did you write down?
I mean, I was like, so Thunder Girl espionage. That's what we're going with here.
Yup.
Like the cookie I did write down Cookie Secrets is not a bad stage name according for Gene saying that was the stage name.
Yeah.
Not a bad stage name, I will say, but like I mean, I know this is an animated show, so like where we're heightening the stakes of the cookies, but like of like the cookie sales. But like my first thought of Ginny saying that like a different, someone else or someone snitched to Troop 257 about her job. My first thought was, could the troop leader also work there? Like that's the
Very
natural
possible.
if it's a big enough office, that's a natural conclusion.
I have to agree. I kind of love the fun though. I was never a Girl Scout, so I kind of have fun with these
Hmm.
because I have no idea what it's actually like. But I did
Yeah.
love the line, "We pinky swore we'd be friends forever," except that one girl who didn't have a pinky and moved away.
I was a Girl Scout through fourth grade, I think,
Oh, so
as
this is
far as
like
I
a
went.
different experience for you.
Yeah, I mean, well, because like with the Girl Scout cookies, like we didn't. I mean, now they do a lot more. Like a lot of the troops, like they do set up tables outside of like the
Mhm.
grocery store or the deli or something like that. When I was in the Girl Scouts, mostly it was just kind of like I sold. We were never very competitive. Like we kind of didn't care. Like if you did like because it was like each individual kid, if you did sell a lot of stuff, you got
Yeah.
certain prizes and stuff like that. But like honestly, like we sold to family friends, we sold to my family, sold to family.
Mhm.
That was basically it. And then when I stopped doing Girl Scouts, I always had a friend who was still in Girl Scouts, so I just bought from her. So like we weren't really competitive when it came to cookie sales. I'm sure there was some kind of underbelly of competition somewhere, but I didn't know what it was.
Like, and they're good cookies. I'm not denying
They
that, but
are.
they're not cheap.
No, they're not.
They're not cheap, and so I'm like, this is not enough cookie for like ratio for price. So
Mhm.
I'm always like, I can just go to like Aldi. Aldi has like their own peanut butter chocolate cookies that are pretty much
Mhm.
tagalongs, and I'm like, I'm just gonna
Yeah,
get those.
that's fair.
They taste the same.
They really do. Like honestly, like it's a good cookie, but it's not that good.
No.
Like it's good because of the scarcity. That's the thing. Is it's good because you only
Mm-hmm.
get it a certain month, a couple months out of the year, depending on your region when that is. That's they've cornered the market on like it needs to be a special thing. That way we
Yeah.
sell a lot and all that other stuff. And I'm like, no, thank you.
I'm okay. I
I'm
bake. We're
okay.
fine.
Exactly. I can buy my own cookies that are better priced. I get more of them for less money.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine. I will give Tina props though for how she figured out who the mole was at the end of the day by
That was
giving all of
awesome.
them. That was very well done. Even if they at first were like, maybe like this is your family's restaurant, maybe you're the mole. Like I wasn't in the troop when this happened because she left, which is totally reasonable. And I like her setting boundaries of she didn't feel like this was right for her anymore, so she left.
Mm-hmm.
And I did not like that Ginny was like, but come back, like
Yeah.
let her do what she wants. Um,
I loved Louise infiltrating though.
yeah,
That was a
because
fun
like
time.
Louise was trying. I mean, Louise, I guess, helped with the snaking her out with the secret handshake for Troop 257. But
Mm-hmm.
like, she kind of didn't do anything at the end of the day. She just kind of made the situation worse.
She was definitely enjoying herself in that troop though.
Yeah.
She like
Mm-hmm.
257, like if she had chosen to stay, I feel like she still would have stayed with them because she was having so much fun around these girls. You know, whittling knives with
Yeah.
knives.
I mean, yeah, that was a wooden shiv.
That was a wooden shiv, 100%. And these kids are just all about it.
They were like, I honestly, at the end of the day, I feel like Louise wants friends, even though she won't outright admit it. But I think she actually does want friends that aren't her siblings.
I think she does, and she struggles with it because you can tell she wears a dress and she wears her pigtails. She's got her bunny hat, but she's not girly in the sense that we would tend to think of a little girl
Yeah.
with their own little, like how they're all friendly and they always hang out with other girls, the braid
Mm-hmm.
train, like the very. I guess more of the feminine side of it. She very much is like you already see how she prefers to hang out with Jean and she prefers to hang out with Bob, but it's not
Yeah.
always the easiest to find other girls like yourself like that all the time.
Mhm.
And so I think that's why she felt the way she did in 257 because those were girls that were like her. But
Exactly.
she's got to find maybe find a group that's not so crazy, but like
Yeah, maybe
find other
I'm sure
girls like her.
there's a middle ground to be had there. I mean, we did hear, but at the very end, we did hear like the TikTok sound that was like, "I made you this friendship bracelet." Well, I'm not really a jewelry person. Well, you don't have to wear it. No, I'm gonna wear it forever. Back off.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
she wants friends. She just doesn't want to admit it.
Like we need more like bring Jessica back.
Yeah.
Boring bland Jessica who she actually had
Hmm.
so much fun with and kept the sleepover going with.
Yeah.
Like
Exactly.
I enjoy that aspect of her, but I feel like they don't do it enough.
Yeah.
Give Louise her little friend group. She deserves that.
She does. She deserves companionship. Like I got every kid. Like even the loners. Like they want friends. They want
Yes.
someone to connect with. They want someone that's gonna like that's going to understand them. Like that's every person. You want someone that's going to understand you,
It's
but like
literally a human trait.
exactly. Like it's normal to seek connection even when you make it seem like you
Mhm.
don't want it.
Like look
So
how
I think
weird we are and what we do.
right.
Just took finding somebody that far away from each other for us to be able to do it.
Unfortunately, yeah. It's like, "Hi,
Unfortunately.
you are someone that thinks like me and we have good conversation and we have similar opinion. Let's do a podcast. We live thousands of miles apart." Oops.
Literally. But yay,
It's
internet.
internet at least, at least we're in the same time zone.
We are. We've said it to each other many times. Like I'm so grateful we are in the same time zone because that would make this so much harder. Because I have friends that I speak to regularly that are like in California,
Yeah.
and we tend to forget we're in different time zones, and they'll send a text be like, "I'm so sick of being at work," and I'm like, "I'm putting my kid to bed right now."
Well, that was like when I was in the RP fandom. Like most people were in the US. Like after a while I learned where people were, and like I would say most people were either on the East Coast or the West Coast
Hmm.
of the US. But there were people that I would write with that were in Europe. Some were in like Hawaii and Alaska, which are even further out
Oh yeah,
than California. And like some people, like I don't even know how we managed to write together because we truthfully were like on nearly opposite time zones. I don't know how we managed it.
you did a great job. Apparently.
I Some of them are people that I wrote with forever. Well, one of my friends that I still talk to, she used to spend half the year in Australia.
Oh, that's so much fun.
As her husband, her ex husband lived there, so she would basically spend like a good like she would spend at least 3 to 4 months a year out there. I don't know how we still managed to write together, basically being on near opposite ends of like 12 hour. I think that's like a 12-hour time
Mhm.
difference. But we managed.
Yeah, that's a big time difference.
Yeah.
So, what did you score this?
This one didn't do great. It was fine, and also I felt like the A and B plots felt even more disjointed than normal. Like they kind of had
Hmm.
nothing to do with each other at the end of the day.
They were so opposite.
Like it's one thing for them to like for the parents and the kids to be doing two separate things. That's we see
Hmm.
that a lot. But this
Oh yeah.
felt very disjointed. So I gave it a 7 for plot and character. It was fine. It didn't really do a whole lot, and I gave it a 6 for personal because it just wasn't a favorite.
Hmm.
So I did get a 20.
I mean, it's not terrible.
It's not terrible. But if you listen to the episode that came out the other day, we both gave it a 14. So
It's better than that.
it could be worse.
I'm still not mad about it though, because like this has been such a good season
Hmm.
that like you can't always have winners.
Exactly.
I gave plot and character 8,
Okay.
and I gave personal 7. So this is actually a 23 for me. So
Okay.
we're not too far off from each
Hmm.
other. So, but yeah, no, like it's been such a good season though for you.
Yeah.
I'm not mad. Like
It happened. Like
it
streaks were bound to
happens.
end. I mean, streaks were bound to end. Unfortunately, it happened with both shows in the same week because I had
Exactly.
like for once it was 30, 30, 29, 14.
Oh yeah, and see like with this one it was like I went 30, 30. No wait. But yeah, it really did go 30, 29, 30, 23. So I'm
Yeah.
with you
Like
on that one.
last week for me it was 26 and a 27, and this week we got a 20 and a yet to be said score.
So now we're going to do episode 8, Midday Run. Tina is excited about her possible promotion as a hall monitor to Hall Manatee. Her and regular sized Rudy run their rounds until they're called to Coach Blevins' office to escort Zeke to the principal's office. Linda starts an art wall of customer art, and Bob is outed as a bad artist. Tina loses Zeke while escorting him and lies to Mr. Frann that they made it to the principal's office as planned. Tina convinces her siblings with permapasses to help her find Zeke. Zeke tries to explain to Tina he only broke into Coach Blevins' office to borrow the mascot uniform to cheer his grandmother up before her surgery. Bob keeps trying to draw something better, but still can't seem to impress Linda. He goes to the art store in hopes of getting some help with his art, only for Edith to pose naked and have him draw her. Regular-sized Rudy outs Tina for never getting Zeke to the principal's office, and Tina finds out Zeke was telling the truth. The Belcher kids help Zeke escape, and he's able to visit his grandma before her surgery. Bob returns to the restaurant with his masterpiece, and Linda admits he isn't terrible at art. Always start off with our puns. What did you get for the vacant storefront?
That was cat-like reflexes, feline gastroenterologist, which is
A little close to
honestly
home?
a little close to home, but also works very well for a small detail in this episode.
It really does.
Uh,
And what did you get for pest control truck?
wouldn't it be mice pest control?
And you do have a burger.
There was one burger, yes. This was the Beets of Burden burger covered with too many beets.
Which I don't know why would you make it too many beets, but it is what it is.
I don't know. I guess they have a lot of beets to use, I guess.
Use them up before they go bad.
Mm-hmm.
We got quite a few fun facts for you. This was, of course,
Okay.
a reference to the 1988 movie Midnight Run. Tina mentions the episode title when she first escorts Zeke from Coach Blevins' office. The music playing while Zeke is performing they call him the Wagstaff Whaler, the mascot, is a parody of the 2 Unlimited song Get Ready for This. Fun times.
Yeah.
One of my personal favorites. So when Gene says one hall pass to rule them all is a Lord of the Rings reference. One ring to rule them all. I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan, so I loved that moment.
Mm-hmm.
So apparently, I told you I'm innocent. I don't care. Zeke's attempted jump to freedom parodied the dam scene from The Fugitive.
Okay.
Bob's car is shown outside Reflections, which is our art store, implying that he drove there when in fact he's only 4 doors down from Jimmy Pesto's Pizzeria.
Yeah.
Like, why did Bob drive to Reflections?
He's having a hard day.
So when Zeke says the reason that he wanted the mascot suit, or I'm sorry, let me correct that. But Zeke says the reason Coach Blevins refused to lend him the mascot suit was probably because he used to poop and stuff, which references when he was the Mad Pooper.
Yes.
Which, that's everybody's favorite, right?
Oh, yeah. I did catch that. I was like, I see what you're doing there.
This one's a little weird, and I didn't catch it, but in Tina's promotion fantasy, 6 cannons shoot streamers. If you pause it right in one frame, the streamers spell sex.
That is so specific of a detail that I wonder how they figured that out.
I want to know. I'm like, did one of the animators talk about this? Like, how?
Or did someone just watch this basically in stop motion?
How did they discover that? Because I had no idea.
I don't know if I want to know the answer.
And a total of 3.95 million households watched this episode, making it the highest rated episode of season 5.
Wow.
Right? A Zeke episode. So what did you think?
This one has ups and downs. The thing that jumps out at me at my notes. Well, I did pull out this line from the beginning. Do you want to see some art? I've already looked in the mirror once today, so I'm good. That's good, healthy body image. I'm very proud of Gene for that.
Gene is very proud of himself, and I love it.
I think so. But what I said before about the vacant storefront being a little on the nose, because the permapass thing, I said permapasses sound like a good idea for a bribe, and yes, they should only be for kids with medical conditions, and I don't like the one that I had.
Yep. Which then they go into all bowels are irritable.
All bowels. Yeah, it's like I guess I'll be so I wrote down. I guess I'll be discussing the difference between IBS and IBD.
Yeah, those are 2 very different things.
2 very different things, and at this point in the schedule, let me double check before I start saying when things will be out.
Like how I just don't pay attention and say things that I shouldn't.
So by this point, the Spoonie episode will be out already. So I probably will have talked. We haven't recorded it yet, but it will be out the week before this.
Okay.
So I'm assuming in there I will talk a little bit more in detail about my own issues with chronic illness, because as a high schooler, it wasn't quite a permapass. It wasn't like their thing of now let's go everywhere in the world except class.
Mhm.
Uh, I basically had a hall pass to use the restroom during class whenever I needed to because I have a form of IBD called Crohn's disease, which IBD and IBS are similar, but they're like neighbors. They're not
Yes.
under the same umbrella. They're like Bob's Burgers and the crematorium. They're next to each other. Because IBS stands for irritable bowel syndrome versus IBD stands for inflammatory bowel
Yep.
disease. So they're two different things, even though they sound very similar. IBS is more of an umbrella term for irritable bowel
Mhm.
symptoms. Basically, it's irregularity. It's any kind of like discomfort in your digestive
Yeah.
system that usually can be helped by a change in diet,
Like
having a bowel movement, stuff like that.
mhm.
It's more superficial issues, I would say. Not to say that the pain isn't real,
Oh, yeah,
but
no.
the issues themselves usually can be worked out themselves. IBD is a specific umbrella term for usually chronic illnesses that have to do with the inflammation of the
Mhm.
bowels, which means there's something deeper tissue going on. In my case, it's an autoimmune condition. Crohn's is where my immune system is quite literally attacking my body.
It's like a we don't have a it's like the certain bacteria and such stuff like that too with everything. It's so much. I love that you're explaining all of this and I'm like waiting to also possibly be diagnosed with the same thing.
You're right.
I had to reschedule that procedure, but
It's
we'll
fine. You'll
just
you'll you'll have answers
we'll
soon.
we'll have answers soon and we just may end up being the IBD buddies and it'll be an interesting
Apparently,
time.
it'd be a great time.
We'll have so much to talk
But
about.
oh yeah, more than we already do.
Right? Yeah, the symptoms are there. I just
But
don't know what it is.
yeah, this is true. But yeah, so I was the permapass thing I did understand. And I'm like the whole time I'm watching this, and I'm like, so this is basically it's a riff off of some type of cop procedural is what I was
Mhm.
getting. Like once I mean the hall monitor thing, but I was like, here's my thing about hall monitors. Let's go back to the show off of our chronic illness issues. I would love someone to tell me if their school actually had a hall monitor system that was kids or if this because I feel like I only ever see this in TV because I can't fathom my school ever letting kids police the other kids. Like there's because the hall monitors, according to television, the day you're on hall monitor duty, you just never go to class.
So the only time that I know of it in my own life is I was a hall monitor in 5th grade for one of the schools that I
Okay.
went to. And we didn't
Okay.
exactly police the students. It was very much of like before school was starting and after school was over, trying to help lead the children where they were supposed to be. Like
Okay.
it was pretty much let's put kids, 5th graders in vests and put them in like different spots throughout the school so the younger kids think they're being watched. Which now saying
Mm.
that as an adult, I'm like, that's kind of creepy. But I think it was to scare the younger students into behaving,
Okay.
in all honesty. And that is the only time in my whole life that I've ever been around like a hall monitor situation. And I was only given it
Yeah.
because my mom worked at the school. So,
Which is fair.
because they knew I
Because
could
like
be
every time I
there.
see, yeah, every time I see like hall monitor situations in schools, I'm like,
Mhm.
this seems like a bad
Yeah,
system.
it's a bad system because I think like really that was like the only reason I think I was chosen because they're like, oh, your mom already has to be here before school starts, and you don't have a bus or someone waiting on you to pick you up. She's here, so we're
Yeah, so
just gonna
let's give you something to do.
yeah. Like instead of sitting in your mom's classroom, the thing is though, which sucked though, because my mom is a autism paraprofessional.
Mm-hmm.
Their classroom had a swing, man. Like I'd
Oh
rather be in that swing, and it's one that went all directions. I did love Jean's line of, mom won't tell me my middle name.
yeah, I was like, why won't Linda tell him his middle name? What is his
Because
middle name?
I have no idea.
We just don't know.
We just don't know. I think it's because she has such a hold on him. She's like, if you know your middle name, you can escape.
I guess.
I guess.
I suppose. Um, this was another one very similar to the last one where I felt like the A and B have of the A and B plots kind of don't have a whole lot to do with each other.
Yeah, that
Again, like
happens a
this one
lot
also
more.
like it just like not that they need to coincide at all, but like I don't know, I feel like even with ones in the past that are just kind of very separate, there's still something connecting them. Like
Mm-hmm.
I guess with the last one, the connection was Linda wasn't understanding something was going on. She's like, "Oh, I'm dumb now because I'm a blonde." I'm like, that's not a good way to connect this. But this one again, like with that and the art wall, like I do appreciate
Mm-hmm.
that Bob was trying to get better at his art. And I think that like a napkin doodle wall is a good idea for a restaurant.
Oh yeah.
But I was like, Linda, just be nicer to your husband's art. Just put it on the wall.
Like, she's the reason Bob had to see Edith naked.
Yeah.
I mean, Bob took that full, like, he was like, all right, this is, you want to teach me? All right, I'm going to do this. But also, Edith, why?
So much skin.
So many folds.
So many folds. Like, we even saw too much and seeing nothing of this animated character at the end of the day.
In all honesty, I think that's my least favorite part of this episode. Like, I like this episode, but that is
Mm-hmm.
that one part that I'm like, it's funny. The humor makes sense. I get the
Mm-hmm.
joke.
Yeah.
But can we please not see a naked Edith? Like,
Yeah,
no
that would
one
be ideal.
wants to see that.
The stack of desks in his hidey hole, in Zeke's hidey hole.
It's so tall.
It looks so precarious. I'm like, this is so unsafe. Why would a school do this? Although I did like the continuity of Zeke was in just his socks for the rest of the episode because he left his shoes in the bathroom. I did
Yep.
appreciate that. But the hidey hole was horrifying.
The hidey hole is terrifying, and like him jumping away, he was still trapped. He did his
Yeah.
little jump, and I'm like, dude, you're still stuck there. There's
Yeah,
no
there's nowhere to go.
escape from that spot.
Nope.
But then once again, at the end of it, oh wait, actually, let me do this first. Zeke and the
Mhm.
Chinese finger trap.
It's almost as if when I pull away, it gets tighter.
Exactly. I love that they did that with him. I like Zeke, but I think it's because I know more of Zeke. But this is one of those episodes that
He's
kind of
grown
grows
on
on
me.
you.
He's grown on me. I will say because I remember like, the first time he showed up, I was like, "Why do we see more of him?" And you're like, "Because he's one of the core kids,
Mhm.
basically that you keep seeing." He's grown on me in that he generally is well-meaning. He's annoying, but he's generally well-meaning.
He's like that class clown that you realize he's just trying to have a good time.
Yeah, because there's the class clowns that are like secretly just like attention whores and just like there's something going on there
Mhm.
and like and then there's the class clowns that are just like I just want to have a good time. Like it's like there's no like malice behind it versus the ones that are like
And they're always
intentionally
smart.
trying to pull away. And they're always smart. Like versus the ones that are like intentionally trying to pull attention away from
Mhm.
the teacher because they think they deserve the attention. He's
Mhm.
more of like he's just having fun. He just wants
Yeah.
everyone to enjoy themselves and have a good time.
And like
And he's trying to do something nice for his grandma.
I know we have the episode where it shows with Bob teaching and everything that he
Mm-hmm.
isn't the best student in every way. Like, he's not the
Mm-hmm.
smartest kid. But that was always my favorite kind of class clown. The one that's like, I'm done with my work. I'm bored. This is dumb. Let's have some fun. Like, they weren't
Mm-hmm.
trying to be disruptive. They were just
Yeah.
bored.
Yeah.
And then we're back to Mr. Frann taking the children out of school again
Uh-huh.
without parent permission. Just like, okay,
Yep.
we're going to go. Let's go. I'm like, you can't just take children out of school. Stop making bets with children like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Frann is an idiot.
He's not. I mean, he's a self-certified counselor.
How does he have this job?
I don't know. He's blackmailed someone. That's like really the only excuse. Like I think of like the characters like on Abbott Elementary, like the principal. That early on in the show, you find out like she blackmailed the superintendent. Basically, that's how she has the job.
Oh yeah, I think I've seen clips of that.
Yeah.
I need to watch that show. But yeah, it's a pretty good episode. It's another Tina episode, but I like it. It's Zeke
Mm-hmm.
heavy. We get some
Yeah.
great lines in this one. It's just,
Mm-hmm.
and I like the doodle wall as well. I like the art aspect. The
Yeah.
only problem is naked Edith. So
Yeah.
not too bad.
It's not a great. Naked Edith is not the best.
No. But what did you rate this?
This one did slightly better than the last one, but not by a lot.
Mm.
This one got a 6 for plot. Overall, it is what it is. It got an 8 for character because I think Zeke is growing on me, which I think
Mhm.
makes a big difference. As well as the Franz being like, like, why are you making bets with children? Why are you doing all of this? And it got a 7 for personal because it was fine. Like this was a fine episode. Is the best way. It was okay.
Yeah.
So this gets a 21.
Not terrible.
Not a terrible score again. Not the best. 21 is what I would say is like it was fine. It was like nothing against it. It is what it is an episode. It
Yep.
gives what it delivers what it promises. And there's like no like specific like there's nothing like I don't particularly dislike it or particularly like it. That's what I say out of like
Yeah.
out of 21s. 21 is very given the fact I mean to be fair out of a 30-point scale 15 should be dead center but we have a hard time giving lower numbers.
We really do.
which, like, I think for season 3 of Once Upon a Time, I'll stop having a hard time giving lower numbers.
I
But
there are some episodes definitely myself that I'm like, "That's gonna get lower. That's
yeah,
definitely gonna get a lot lower."
like, currently, I think the lowest I've given anything was in the episodes for Selfless, Brave, and True, where I gave
Mhm.
some 4s. That's the lowest I've given something, I think.
But we tend to get 20 between 20 and 22 episodes for Bob's Burgers. They are all not gonna be highly rated. Like,
Yeah,
there's no way
they're not all gonna be
statistically,
winners.
which is perfectly fine.
Yeah, I think that's normal for a TV show. Like, you're not gonna like every episode, and I'm like,
Mhm.
but I mean, that's the thing, I guess, also with like with there being so few episodes and seasons these days, as we rant about that in various other episodes and specials. Like, maybe they're trying to like statistically like bring down that average of like how many episodes you dislike per season. If there's only 8 of them, you can't dislike this many of them.
And, like, viewing's definitely up because how are you gonna stop when there's only 8 episodes?
Exactly. You're not gonna skip episodes. Like, there's only 8
Mhm.
of them. You're gonna miss, like, they're all so plot relevant. You can't skip anything, and I think that's a big issue right now.
I think, and which is so interesting because I just Steven, we're recording this in June. We're still a couple of weeks out from the season 3 of The Bear, which is one of my
Mhm.
favorite shows. And I
Yeah.
just had my husband binge it, which is not saying
Mhm.
much because season 1 only has 8 episodes. Season 2
Mhm.
has 10. While I say that though, but one random episode in season 2 is an hour long.
Okay.
It is the most chaotic episode of television you will ever watch.
Mhm.
Um, and it's such a good show, but every single piece of it has a point. Every shot, every line, everything has a point,
Mhm.
which is great. For something like this, it works. But then I'm sitting here and I'm like, how many episodes of Bridgerton are there? And y'all are making people wait a month for part 2 of a season?
Mm. Yeah, it was 4. I think they split up into 4 and 4.
It's only 8 episodes.
Yeah, I don't really know. I've been thinking about this recently about the filler, and then we'll get back to your score in a
Oh,
second.
of
I realize we
course,
kind of derailed this,
as we do.
as one does. But I feel like shows need filler, and I know that we
Yes.
say I know oftentimes we say that, like, with Selfless Favorite, you're like, this was kind of a filler episode, but I really do think the filler episodes are what give your viewers the chance to care about your characters,
Mhm.
even in situations where there isn't a lot going on. Because I would say, for a lot of people that like Regina in Selfless, Brave, and True, I'll say this, like, it's filler episode. There's not a whole lot going on in that, but the few times that she's in that episode is like, yep, that's why I love her, because she's just gonna come in with this sassy one liner and walk out and do all these crazy things.
Which is
Like,
great.
it gives you this, and also gives you time to reflect on like what's going on with the show. So like, it doesn't always have to be plot one right after the other, especially in stuff that might be a little more character driven. You need filler, otherwise it's
Mhm.
going to get exhausting.
Well, I really like with this too, like we get so many episodes of Bob's Burger. Yes, they're only 30 minutes long. We are
Hmm.
highly saturated with the show and it's perfectly
Yep.
fine. But like we need these episodes that we're not huge fans of because I feel like it makes the ones we love even better.
Yeah.
It truly does. Like you have to not like something sometimes. If we were
Hmm.
completely like, "Oh, this is perfect and I love this for every single thing we watched," it would get a little exhausting.
It's not realistic.
It's not realistic. After I was just like, "But the bear is perfect." Like it's hard to, but then it's making it harder to pull things apart and not
Hmm.
like certain things when you only get 8 episodes.
Exactly.
Like, oh, we
Like,
we
there's
we have a
there's
whole
less to
special about
critique.
this.
We do. There's less to critique at that point. Like, when there's less episodes, like there's less filler, there's less chances for people to dislike things. So there's less room for critique, because like
Hmm.
there's the main critique is, why should I care about these characters that you've just sped me through this adventure in their life? Like,
I feel like it takes away the opportunity for growth because,
yeah.
like you just said, Zeke is growing on you. If we didn't have this filler episode, it's okay. It's an okay episode.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be able to see Zeke's growth. Even
Mhm.
though it's not, oh my God, it's like your favorite episode, it causes a character to grow on you. Just like these Teddy episodes. Teddy
Mhm.
as Uncle Teddy causes you to be like, oh, wait, I actually like this side of the character. Is it your
Mhm.
favorite episode? Not really. Do you enjoy this aspect? Yes.
Mhm.
But then we get these short seasons, very few episodes, and it's like, why do I care about these characters?
Yeah.
We we have no relationship with most characters, and it's
It's
getting
just
frustrating.
it is. Would you say Regina is growing on you?
Growing.
I'm just
I've loved her from the beginning.
okay, just making sure.
After the last picture you sent her, like no words. I had no words for
To be
that.
fair, that's Lana, not Regina, to be fair.
I mean,
They are different people at the end of the day, but
they
also
are, but
like
they're not.
I'm looking as respectfully as I can, and it's not that respectful.
I am no better than a man.
We say that all the time.
Almost daily at this point.
She knows what
Um,
she's doing.
she does.
She
I
does it on
say that
purpose.
in like the personality of her when you watch interviews and watch other things she's in, you
Yeah.
can still see so much of Regina in her.
Yeah. I
Obviously,
think
she played the character for so long,
Yeah,
but
I think she took a lot of her confidence with her. One thing I will say, and I say this, I've when this came out, I said this to a friend of mine. She did I think an Instagram live when her merch brand was doing a release, so she was showing everything, and one of the things she was showing was there was like it was like a cropped hoodie,
oh,
and
cool.
so she was trying to show the camera like the material, and she realized she lifted it a little too high.
Uh-oh.
But
That's against guidelines.
yes, but after when she sat down, she went, "Well, I'm going to see that on the internet later." She played it off very well. She played it off as very humorous, like she kind of like did like a little tongue in cheek kind of thing, but she shouldn't have had to.
That's very true. I have
Like
to admit that as
she's
well.
not wrong because honestly hours later, I like maybe even less than that, I saw edits on TikTok of that clip. I'm like, she shouldn't have had to say that.
When she purposely puts out a picture or video that she has made herself, that is
Mhm.
when we're like, okay, I appreciate this
Mhm.
person.
Yes,
When
but
when
when
it
it
happens by accident,
uh-huh.
it's inappropriate.
Yep.
There was a thing I saw recently. Apparently, I don't like Taylor Swift, but
Mhm.
there was like a Taylor Swift concert thing, and I had to block someone on Threads immediately because the security had to literally lift this woman in a skirt over the side of something,
Ooh.
and a man on the internet decided to screen grab that and repost it. I reported that very quickly.
Good. Good for you.
Like, don't do that to people.
No, that's not okay.
It's not okay. My score though.
Yes, your score for this episode after that nice rant about television and fandom culture. Not that we don't have a million specials about that.
Right? So I gave plot and character 9.
Okay.
Like I said, this is I know more.
Yeah, no,
And
that's
then
fair.
personal 10. Like, yes, I know the Edith thing is weird, but I get the joke.
No, that's fair.
Um, I'm used to the crass humor. I watch way too much adult animation, so
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoy this episode. But I've seen so much more of Zeke, and even like the relationship between Edith and I think it's Harold with
hmm
the Belcher family. That I'm
Yeah.
like, no, I kind of enjoy this because this is just the beginning of like other episodes where we actually get to see Bob interact more with Edith, and it's just a
Yeah.
good time. Which then makes me just think every time he has to interact with her, it's like, I drew you naked.
hmm
And it's a interesting memory.
Does Tina
But
ever
yeah,
get to become a hall manatee?
I don't think I ever see
Oh,
that again.
that's unfortunate.
I had to just keep watching like I do and see if it pops up again because
hmm
I think I've told you before, I haven't actually gone back and watched the more recent seasons over and
Yeah.
over like I do the older ones.
hmm
And I really need to. I think the next time I start just like kind of I like to okay, I have realized with my ADHD, if I set up like my like if I'm in my bedroom or my living room, I can just turn the TV on. If
hmm
I'm trying to clean my kitchen, my bathroom, something like that, I bring my iPad in and I turn on a favorite show
hmm
because it tricks my brain
Yeah.
and I'm able to like deep clean and organize, but then my brain is entertained and I'm not like, this is a boring task.
Yeah.
For my fellow like neurodivergents, I can't be the only one that does this. I think I told another friend who's definitely neurodivergent that I do that, and they're like, holy shit, that's a smart idea.
hmm
Because then your brain doesn't get bored.
Yeah.
Because I can cook without it and I'm fine.
There's a lot going on when you're cooking.
Because cleaning, it's so boring. I can't do it.
hmm
So I just need to go, okay, let's start at season 10 and move on because
Yeah.
I honestly have not watched those seasons
Well, that's
enough.
I'm the same with ones. Like, obviously the episodes are longer, so it takes me a while to get through a bunch of
Oh,
the
yeah.
episodes. But like I say that my last rewatch got derailed by the podcast, but because it
You're
did.
welcome.
But I was stuck on like the same episode for a while. I was like, I don't like this episode. I don't want to watch it, and I didn't. And then we had the podcast, and I'm like, well, can't go there now because why watch season 5 when I can also be watching season 1? It's like I just never get far. I never like I always start at the beginning, so I like lose momentum by the time I
Hmm.
get to the later seasons, and I just never get to the end.
It's more enjoyable now, though. Like going in to sit down and watch the show, even like I guess with me with Bob Burger, I still watch it,
hmm
but now I get to enjoy. Even when like new episodes were coming out, I got to sit and watch and not only be like, okay, yay, new episode, I love the show,
hmm
to going, how is Lauren gonna think about this? Like, what is Lauren's opinion going to be? And it's so much more fun.
hmm
And like I told you before doing this, I loved the show and I watched it and binged it constantly, but I'd never looked into like the puns and
Mhm.
the behind the scenes and all these different fun facts that I find are that are through the wiki. I
Mhm.
didn't know about that stuff before, and now I'm watching interviews now
Yeah.
thanks to you.
I do go back and I watch a lot of the interviews, mostly 'cause I'm mining for content, but, I would say for Once Upon a Time for me, I think because there's so much going on plot-wise with it,
Mhm.
I purposefully don't go back and watch other episodes unless I'm doing it unless I'm looking at a scene for my
Mhm.
voiceover series, which I changed the name of because bad impression
Mm.
voiceover is hard to say, and I really wish I'd come up with this better title 180 videos ago.
Oh
Th
my.
yeah, I've made a lot of these but not 180 individual scenes because I do redos all the time. But I'm now dubbing the series Amateur ADR, which is a lot easier to say.
Ooh, I like that.
I think that because that's basically what it is at this point. Like I call them bad impression voiceovers, like basically just to kind of like gloss over when they're not that great. I'm like I say they're all bad, whether they're good or not, they're all bad. It's because they're not spot on impressions. But
Yeah.
I posted the first one today under the new umbrella of amateur ADR. I just wish I'd come up with that a lot sooner.
I'm gonna
So
have to go onto TikTok then.
I've been doing, and actually, the one I posted today is a scene from 217, so you can watch it.
Yay!
It's the scene.
Sometimes I have to skip them.
Yeah, it's the scene. It's the scene at the very end of 217 with Regina and Snow on her porch.
Ooh, yeah,
It
no,
came out good.
I gotta go watch that now.
It came out good. I'll send it to
I
you.
gotta go. I appreciate that.
Thank you all for listening. Join us next time when we discuss Once Upon a Time, episode 219, Lacey. Don't forget to like, rate, and follow the podcast wherever you listen so you can be notified every time we publish a new episode. Follow us at OBDYK_pod on Instagram and TikTok. And if you'd like to join our book club, you can find the link with more details in our show notes.
This has been an episode of Okay, but Did You Know? A TV and media podcast. It was hosted by Katie and Lauren and edited by Katie.